Good evening.
Everywhere I go on this island, it seems to me I find degeneracy.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes. See, it's a lot scarier when there's no motive, Sid.
We have a bargain.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes.
Do you feel the pain? Or is the pain, I can assure you, will be exquisite.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes.
His entire work consists of violence, all the time, obsessed with the issue of violence. Mayhem, gouging out of eyes, autopsies on the stage.
Come. It is time to keep your appointment.
Good evening, all. I hope you're well. Forgive me for being a little bit rusty. We are out of the bunker. The incident has passed. The mysterious incident has gone out the way, and we are all fine. A massive hello to everyone in chat, and a huge hello to everyone watching on the replay. I remembered you guys for once. Thank you so much for your patience in me being away for the last 2 weeks. And I want to say a special thank you to the wonderful people who sent super chats in on the Zardoz video. I am so sorry that I was unable to actually answer those because those bunker streams were up because I could not be online. So apologies for that. And thank you for your generosity. It is much appreciated. Well, we are coming to you a bit rusty, you know, was it late and gay, belated and filleted, as they say it around here on the internet. I wouldn't use that language myself, obviously. I keep it clean on this stream. But I'm looking forward to getting back into things tonight, even though it's a bit weird. We're talking about an anthology and Murgoot's not here. What are we going to do? What are we going to do, TCG?
He's too busy watching the unskippable ads to answer the question in chat. But good evening, everybody. How are you all doing?
I hope you're all well. Was this Dollface asking, is this a local stream? Oh, God, I just got it. Sorry, Dollface, I'm slow. Yes, it's a local stream for local people. There's nothing for you here.
That is a classic reference, my lord.
Pull back. But you know, we've gone old school. That's a classic pullback. But we've also pulled you back, Haryan.
Yeah. Sorry, Tash just delivered my dinner because she's a great person. I should definitely wife at some point.
You're going to greet chat with a mouthful of nom.
I am so hungry.
Hang on. We're late and gay, and the first thing Haryan says. He says with his mouthful.
Mouthful of meat.
I'm just going to leave that there.
Look, I had to sort out horses with Tash earlier, and so I've only just been able. We've only just cooked the meal, so I'm gonna.
How that story ends.
Oh yeah. Dear.
So I'm gonna try and I'm not gonna take a bite now because obviously I'm here, but yeah.
All right.
Well, to get me back because I love inside number 9.
Heck yeah. Well, I'll buy you a bit of time so no one notices you are unprofessionally filling your gob on stream, and I'll do the proper TCG introduction that you've made a very convenient segue for. He say, all things pass into the night, and I say, oh no, sir, I must say you're wrong. I must disagree. Oh no, sir, I must say you're wrong. Won't you listen to me? Goodbye, horses, I'm criming over you. Goodbye, horses, I'm criming over you. Goodbye, horses, I'm criming over you. It's TCG.
I've got no idea what that was, but I'm loving the little criming in there. Love it.
I just figured if I start mixing it up, time becomes crime, flying becomes crime, makes it a bit more personalised.
It does. And I like that personal touch. I'm still waiting for the day you deep lore and start using my own stuff.
Well, I have been tempted to bring in the quit the hip hop bitch stop. Have you run away? I won't get into it. So it'd be uncool if I knew them really well.
No. It's definitely cool if you know the old Mad Dog stuff.
Oh yeah. Hello chat. I'm saying, oh, Queendom. Have I seen you before? Have I seen you in chat before, Queendom? Maybe I have. Regardless, hello. And hi, Kent Jensen. Good to see you. My favourite Norwegian. Patrick Batman. Good to see you. Murgoot, hello. Dollface, of course. Mr. GB, deeply subversive. Responsible for the repo stream, I think. And Baldwin, hello. And Thurman Trees as well. Good to see you.
Just to interject, by the way, Queendom, that is a very good opinion. that is all I will say to your comment.
Oh, yeah. Yep, solid. Absolute solid choice. Guys, you don't know how hard this was for us to choose the episodes. I've taken a bit of a strategy. We are going to do 2 Inside Number 9 streams. This one is kind of framed around Haryan. So we've got one that he really hated. In fact, he came on because he was raging out in the comments about this particular episode. And I thought, okay, we'll get one he hates, one he loves, and we'll get a mid one. And I hope that works out. And then next week, we're going to go into some of the deeper pulls where there's a bit more controversy. You know, some of the problems of the series we're going to get into, as well as focusing more on it as a horror show. But ultimately, I am doing 2 streams because I just bloom in love Inside Number 9. I think it's fantastic. I think it's one of the best things that has been out in years. And I want to introduce more people to it. TCG, when did you discover Inside Number 9?
I think I discovered it. I'm trying to think. Actually, was it when we've covered Inside Number 9 before, haven't we?
I think we did the Christmas the first Christmas episode.
Yeah.
Devil of Christmas. I think we did.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did. Yeah, we did, and then after that, I binged it with the missus.
Everyone has gone on a binge. I saw people who'd never heard of it start the first episode and then just binge it all the way through. That's what I did. Total binge. In fact, if you're in sorry, I can't remember what name you have on here. Apologies, but I know you said you started binging. Never mind, I won't get distracted with that. But I should remember people's names. Like I said, I'm rusty. I'm very rusty on here. She's a member as well, so I feel awful.
It's all right. It's been a busy 2 weeks. Don't worry about it.
It has been a very, very busy 2 weeks indeed. Cards close to chest. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was going to say was Devil of Christmas. Oh, I was about to kind of spoil the twist, but I don't want to spoil that twist for anyone. Is that the one about a bad film?
It is.
Yeah.
And I wanted to cover. I was tempted to cover it again because there's sort of a there's a thing with Inside Number 9 which I think that episode is a great example of, where the twist will be absolutely devastating. It'll be a stone cold stunner on you. It'll absolutely pull your esophagus out. But on the rewatch, if you start thinking about it a bit too much, if you engage the EFAT brain, you know what I mean? It's like
that's I don't know if that episode's got that problem. From what I remember of it, but yeah, Inside Number 9 does. There's certainly some episodes where if you engage your brain on it, yes, it's it breaks, but they are very few and far between, luckily.
Yeah, sometimes they are so set on getting you the most amazing twist that they might just bend the logic a tiny bit to make it happen. It could be said.
We'll get into that.
we will, and we'll delay no longer. I'm afraid I'm very short on time tonight, so I'm going to keep it very brief. I've also decided that I think I want to try doing the Vincent Price series separately, because I just feel a bit bad having guests sat there while I talk for an hour. So I'm going to try and just do Vincent Price stuff separately, but we'll get to the end of that. But moving forwards, we'll just get a little shilling out of the way, and then we'll get into discussing these episodes. So, Haryan, would you like to do a bit of shilling?
Oh yeah, we do the shilling at the start now. Yeah. I still make videos, so follow my channel for that. Most recent one was about the St George's Day event in London, where the police were actually seemingly competent for once, after being incompetent for 6 months, something like that, every Saturday. So I just quickly covered that. And more videos will be coming out in the future. What they will be on, I don't know, but I'm probably not going to get time to do another one till Monday. So, you'll subscribe and then have to wait. But I do now do Laughing at the Guardian every 2 weeks again as well now. So you've got that to look forward to. This is going to be spicy. I am supposed to have I am supposed to have Dev on next Friday, but he is very annoying to organise things with. So that'll be the next one, but the one after I think will be more to proper horror show and our audience's taste. I like Dev. That's all I'll say.
All right, and we'll also say congratulations, you breaking past the barrier that YouTube has held you at for a ridiculous amount of time.
Yeah, I licked 8,000 subscribers about 3 separate times over the past 3 years, and I think about 6 months ago or so is when I finally broke through. So hopefully I'll get to 10k before long, and then I'll do a celebration stream, and that'll be nice. So subscribe to me for that.
Do it. All right, cool. And TCG, you dropped a 7-hour magnum opus, an absolute beast on people. What's up with that?
So for those who don't know, I do have a second channel where I do live content. Although recently I've been bringing it back over to the main channel and then using that as sort of like an archive, if you will. But a while back I played Until Dawn. And for that 7 hours was pretty much crapping my pants, and I figured I'll put it into one like mega cut so that people can go and check it out if they wanted to in their own time, or they can obviously just go to the second channel and just check the individual parts there. But in terms of what I mostly do, I'm very much a part-time YouTuber at the moment. Haryan says that he makes videos. I'd love to make videos. I haven't made one since Halloween, but I am working on a project now, which is going to be like a 3-part mini series, if you will. Essentially, it will be the main bulk, which will be the first video. I'm getting the research and the timelines down this week. I'll hope to get the script done next week and then get to producing the actual video itself the following week. So I'm aiming to get that as quick as possible. But as you guys know, who follow me, my work has absolutely absorbed me these last few months. But that'll be talking about the Baton Rouge killer. Moving swiftly on from that, we'll be talking about the other Baton Rouge killer, and then we'll be topping it off with the other Baton Rouge killer. Yes, there were 3 serial killers operating around about the same time.
Goodness.
So I will focus on that. The whole Sharkar murder stuff, I abandoned it. It's one of those ones where, as you sort of go into it, you're like, nah, I'm not feeling it anymore. But this one, I'm definitely sticking to.
Nice. All right. Cool. We'll look forward to it. As for my own chilling, keeping it quick, folks, the Blockbuster series has been coming out on Saturdays. The algo is absolutely got it in a chokehold. It's brutal, but you know what? Everyone who has seen it has really appreciated it and been absolutely darling. So take that as a glowing endorsement. If you haven't watched the Blockbuster series, get out, watch it. I have a playlist for it. You can catch up. The final episode is on Saturday. I would love loads of people in for the final episode, wrapping it up, dropping in some radicalization and a cheeky Easter egg or 2 for people. So come in on Saturday for that. And of course, the audio commentary. I think everyone knows what the audio commentary is for, but if not, well, it's for Scream 5. So get yourself a legal copy of that, and you can enjoy that with me. We'll do them both live on Saturday. And because I've kind of got the taste for audio commentaries, let's spoilers. I've already done another one. I've asked both TCG and Haryan to work on separate audio commentaries for me. And I've already recorded one with Harry of the Lotus Eaters for In the Mouth of Madness. And that was great fun. Really enjoyed that. So we'll get that out to you soon. Get that out to members nice and early. And as I mentioned, members, quick shill, we're on YouTube and you can join this channel as a member to get exclusive access to exclusive content, early access, all that good stuff. You can do that on Subscribestar and YouTube, or you can just drop a cheeky super chat in here. It's all very welcome. Okay, enough shilling. Let's discuss inside number 9. All right, folks. So a quick preamble. I think for some Americans, this might be unfamiliar. I had a few people saying they had trouble getting hold of it. Hopefully, we can convince you tonight that this is worth it. We will be spoiling them thoroughly, but there's also so many of them that us spoiling 3 episodes will not ruin it for you. This is a British series running on the BBC. It is produced and written mostly by Reece, Shearsmith and Steve Pemberton, who are 2 of the members of the League of Gentlemen, which was an old comedy troupe that in the early 2000s did sort of slightly edgy, slightly gross out, but I would say a cut above and very horror literate, movie literate series about basically a town full of grotesques.
Very much comedy for this audience, I'd say.
I think they'd like it. They'd like it.
Yeah.
They came out of that. They did another series called Psychoville. I did not like it. This seems to be a much more mature project of theirs. While their other members are sort of Jeremy Dyson, who's moved more into directing, and Mark Gatiss, who basically did all the Sherlock stuff with Stephen Moffat and has gone a bit more Hollywood. I see we do have League of Gentlemen fans in the chat. Good on you. They went their ways. Pemberton and Shearsmith stuck together. And in this, I think, we saw something a lot more ambitious. They did that thing where they took the constraints of TV and they managed to turn it to their advantage. Lots of TV is based around a money-saving bottle episode. That is where basically you only work in one set to save a ton of money. Once you start noticing bottle episodes, you now know what that's for. And they've done a whole series of bottle episodes. So the constraints they have are, it's always got to be half an hour, and it always needs to be within one location. Often just a room, sometimes just a flat. And in the case of Sardines, largely a cupboard. We'll get into that. But working with that constraint I think it makes them extremely creative. Would you guys say that's fair?
Oh, you know, on Twitter when people are saying, "Oh, Canon just restricts creatives, like they can't be as creative as they want to be." This completely blows that out of the water from the media literacy crowd. You can do a lot with largely one location and largely half an hour. It's crazy. Yeah, they do crazy things in this show that really ingrain in your memory.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, totally. They have to trim the fat, as it were. And I think it gets them down to what the core of the story is.
In most of them.
In most of them, yeah. We have an exception or two, maybe. And they also just achieve that thing of showing how much characterization you can do within half an hour. I think it's made them really, really skilled at creating memorable characters in such a short amount of time.
Definitely, yeah. Especially, one of the I don't want to spoil any of the episodes yet, but one of the particular episodes, yes, is effectively entirely just a character study, and it's great. One of their best episodes. So it's the other good thing about this show. You don't really know what you're going to get with each episode at all. Indeed, it could be a pure comedy one. It could be a pure horror one. It could be a bit of both. It could just be dark, and if you find humor in it or not, doesn't really matter. It's great. Very talented writers. Sure,
Yeah.
I can never remember their names, but
Pemberton and Shearsmith.
that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, and it goes meta also in terms of you don't know what you're going to get. This series is quite well known for trolling the audience. They've had a couple of fake episodes put up where they've advertised an episode, created a promo for it, and then it's been air quotes cancelled. And then something else is played that was also made by them. They are very sneaky with it.
Yeah. Was it a Christmas special, one of them?
It was a Halloween special,
That
and
was
there
it,
was
yeah.
also the end of the last season.
I've not got to there yet. But,
Okay.
yeah.
The joke is kind of spoiled now because if you're not watching it live, it doesn't work. It just shows up in iPlayer.
yeah.
But yeah. Oh, I am seeing people did have trouble finding it. Guys, it's worth it. It is so worth it. Call your good friend Mr. VPN and get him to hook you up.
I mean, I've not got a TV license, and I managed to find it. So
Nice.
It's on Now TV for people. That's probably only a Britain thing, though. Again, actually, isn't it?
I think BritBox you can get it for that, or it may be elsewhere on the internet via a number of means. Yes. So having set up, it could basically be anything. They were very inspired explicitly by a couple of other anthologies, one of which we have talked about. So they explicitly named Tales of the Unexpected, which we talked about previously. That was mostly done by Roald Dahl, inspired by him. And similar thing where you could have a more comedic episode or a straight up soul crushing nightmare episode, like the Flypaper that we covered. I think they also specifically said they liked Hammer House of Horror. So these guys are media literate, anthology literate, and they're bringing that passion for the genre to this, but updating it in a very interesting way. So having rambled on about it enough, we'll go straight into the first episode. I hope you guys are okay if we start with the very first episode,
Yes.
Sardines.
Yes.
All right. TCG, if it's okay with you, would you like to do the pint of Guinness summary for this one? Or if not, I can do it.
No, I'll give it a go.
You got the easy one. Go for it.
Sardines kicks off. It's like a hide. I mean, essentially, it's a hide and seek game, and it's set in one area, which is a closet, which is the very closet that you can see on screen now. I believe his name's Ian, that you can see on screen. He's hiding, and then he gets found by a girl called Rebecca. It turns out it's her party, and they're playing. They're playing the game Sardines. The objective of the game is when you find the person or persons, you then join them in the room. You join them in their hiding spot and wait for other people to join you. As the story goes on, there's little sort of hints. I don't really want to sort of give away too much at this bit, but as the story goes on, there's little sort of like nuggets of like a darker sort of theme that's going on, in particular with Pemberton's character. He seems very sort of resentful to be in this specific room. There's also when his dad approaches, finds them and is hiding in with them, they start to sing the Sardine song, and he's like, "Don't sing that." And you're kind of thinking, "Oh, what's going on?" They talk about a boy called Pip as well, who is no longer who's no longer there. It's just a very sort of claustrophobic, very awkward sort of chain of events that go on. Everyone has their sort of own little personal agendas for being there. But I don't really want to say too much. I mean, it's simply put, it's a game of hide and seek where, as more characters are introduced into the story, things start to become a little bit more apparent as to sort of like the darker undertones of it. It's I really liked it. Really liked it straight off the back. Oh my God, Zoe!
Oh my
Long
goodness!
time no speak. How you doing?
Been a while.
I know.
Good seeing you, Zoe Spinett.
Apparently, oh no, I'm thinking of a different one. But I thought this was inspired by Rope, but I think I'm thinking of episode 4.
They have done a Rope-inspired one.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it wasn't this one, I don't think. But yeah, I thought, you know, if you're watching it, I would have loved to have watched this on the premiere when it first came out. To be quite, because to get that first time viewing, I think I would have absolutely been hooked straight away.
Yeah, well, it knocked my socks off. I didn't know what I was going to get at all. And most of the time, just as you said, you're watching this, you're mostly carried by on this really awkward humour.
Yeah,
that just builds up with these little bits, and characters play off each other as you get the information.
Yeah, like Rebecca's character keeps getting her name keeps getting confused with Rachel. Ian, who's the guy on the left there, keeps calling her Rachel, and it turns out Rebecca's fiance, who is, I think is it Mark? I think
could be. There are a lot of characters.
I'm terrible with names, but either way, her fiance is actually Rachel is her fiance's ex, and she's also at the party with her boyfriend. It's just like when he turns around and is like, "Oh, they're both in the closet together," and he's like, "Oh, he talks about you all the time," and they're both like, "Really?" and then Rebecca was like, "Oh, did you mean me?" And he goes, "What's your name?" He goes, "Are you Rebecca?" She goes, "Yes." He goes, "Yes." Or it's like when it's just them three in there, and I can't remember exactly what she says, but it leads up to him turning around and saying, "Yeah, why don't you shut it? Like, why don't you shut your mouth?
Why don't you shut up, bitch?
Shut up, bitch!" And then they just look at him, and he's like, "I'm sorry, that was misjudged."
Yeah.
So great.
It's brilliant. One thing that really gave me the ick, though, and I don't know whether it was intentional or not, was the amount of heavy breathing and tongue, sort of like that.
When did you turn into a 16-year-old girl? It gave you the ick.
Well, you know what I mean. Yes, it's the best way I can describe it. It made me very, very uncomfortable.
There we go. Look at how it was filming that with everyone in there.
Oh, so cramped. Do you reckon Stinky John actually stunk?
Stinky John. Well,
I'd like to think he was committed. That it was method acting.
You say that he's if you want to talk about method acting, he's great, because he was in a TV series. It was like a competition called, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, My New Best Friend.
I've not heard of that, no.
Right, okay. So it was basically you'd like apply to be on the show, and his whole shtick was you would introduce him as your new best friend, but every week he was like a different character, like really like crazy, like sort of like weird, like person. And basically you had to convince people that he was actually your friend, and at the end you'd get like you win a prize. I think it was like $1,000 or something. But it was brilliant. My wife actually years and years ago, she looked for it back on like what I think it was like Telly West, like what's now like Virgin Media, and it wasn't there. And she actually contacted the providers and was like, "Look, can you get this show on there, please?" And they were like, "Yeah, okay, there you go." And it was on, and they put it on there for her.
God, I'd never heard of that.
Yeah, it's on 4OD nowadays. But yeah, he's really good in it. Like, so.
I think they did find a way to sneak quite a few character actors. That's the other thing. So many British faces are in this. So Ian is played by Tim Key, who was kind of hanging around Charlie Brooker. If you watch his old screen wipe stuff, Tim Key is brought in as an awkward poet quite a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And he was also on the first series of Taskmaster, where you see a very different side of him. Speaking of Taskmaster, Steve Pemberton is on the current series.
Oh,
yes.
Nice.
There's a few Taskmaster crossovers in this as we go. But yeah, they use Tim Key's awkwardness so well in this. But again, you spend the whole time just having these little setup and payoffs where at first it's Rachel and Rebecca's names getting confused. And then it's built up when you see, actually, one of them is the ex of someone else. So it's extra awkward. They've set up that Stinky John is coming along and just trying to awkwardly keep him out of the closet. It's
and you got like Pemberton and Shearsmith's characters, like a gay couple. Pemberton plays Rebecca's brother.
Yeah, we've got them in your avatar this week.
Yeah,
in the closet.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, Patrick Batman has dropped an absolutely amazing screen white fact. You met Barry Shippeas. Amazing.
What name is that?
So he's a production guy. I think his name was Al Campbell or something like that. And
he's the one who talked like this.
Yeah. Brooker just got him to be a talking head. Brooker would get a lot of the sort of runners and production staff to be in the show and then bully them.
Right.
That was my favourite bit, was him just bullying the production staff.
Until
they kicked the crap out of him in one episode.
Yeah. That's where Philomena Kunk came from as well.
Yes.
With Diane Morgan.
I'm less a fan of her, I'm afraid to say.
Wow. Oh, wow. No. The history with Kunk is Earth of Kunk or whatever it's called. Her mockumentaries are great. Especially the first season when the professors didn't understand the joke. We're just confused. Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, wait. So, we're talking about how Pemberton and Shearsmith show up in this. As a gay couple, and it's a really good choice of Reece Shearsmith, who's on the left in TCG's icon there. He gets to be kind of like the life and soul, the contrast to everyone else who's being really awkward. He's more flamboyant and outrageous and livening it up and sort of keeps you distracted. I mean, I found him hilarious in this.
Yeah, he was like the proper overt flamboyant gay. Like
very annoying,
very inappropriate, very annoying. And then you got like Pemberton's character, who you could tell was like deeply like sexually repressed based on their dialogue, and just as like the little snide comments that Shearsmith's character would say. It was really interesting.
Yeah. It keeps you off balance, doesn't it? Because you're watching this, you're seeing these little and it's all so awkward.
Yeah.
But when they are building up the final thing, they drop it, and you're not prepared for it, are you? I mean, we have to spoil it now. We do have to spoil it for people. TCG, do you want to drop that spoiler of what's been going on the whole time?
Yeah. So as the story sort of goes on, they're making little comments. I'm trying to sort of think how to phrase it. So it's mentioned earlier that Rebecca's fiance needs to pick someone up from the train station. No names are given. Stinky John comes in, yada yada yada. Eventually, it gets to a point where they're all inside the they're inside the closet, and the big reveal is it looks like that Rebecca's dad, who is the old gentleman there, as you can see, may have been a bit of a fiddler, because Stinky John, the reason why he's called Stinky John, as you can probably imagine, is they mentioned that one day he just stopped washing, and it later transpires that it could have been because of good old daddy over here that he didn't. And they talk about another boy called Pip who left, who moved away because accusations were thrown at the dad, and he soon moved away. Turns out the dad paid the family to move away, and he was just trying to teach the boy hygiene, good proper hygiene. And then,
I mean, what's wrong with that?
Stinky John's like, I can smell carbolic soap, and then But by this point, actually, Ian is actually out of the closet because, again, it got really cramped at one point. So he ended up in the
slipped
bathroom.
off into the bathroom, and
He
you've had
did.
enough time to forget about him.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then it's mentioned that, and then the fiance turns around and says, like, "Oh, I need to go and pick up Ian," and he was like, "Hold on a minute, that's his name?" And the guys are like, "No, Ian's here. He's in the bathroom." He's like, "No, he's not." And then it pans out, and it's just this key and this hand turning the key, locking the door, and he like pours like petrol over the door, and then he starts singing the Sardines song, and then Pemberton goes, "Pip," and then he just stands there, and he's like got a lighter, and it sort of just pans out while he's still singing the song, and then I think there's some music that plays at the end, which I think is the only time you hear music, and then show ends. Turns out Pip came back for revenge. He locked everyone in the closet and set them on fire, burned them alive
with a ridiculously elaborate plan, I might add.
Yes, it was very elaborate. Like a lot of puzzle pieces had to fall in, had to fall together to make that plan just work the way it did.
With information, I just don't understand how he got. But, yeah, I mean, before you two were saying you were gripped by this episode, I don't actually think I would have watched any more Inside Number 9 if I wasn't watching the whole series with my dad after this episode.
Really?
I didn't like this episode.
Okay.
I think amazingly what you've done is for this stream you've picked my two least favorite episodes.
I thought this was a mid for you. I chose it as a mid.
I really hate this. I don't like this episode though.
Right.
No. It's.
I think you have picked up on though this the example of something that we're going to talk about. Amazing payoff, but if you come back with the EFAT microscope, you start to have some questions, don't you?
I even question if it's a good payoff. I even question that. I don't think it's a good payoff. Because you have all of these dysfunctional people, and what's the ending saying? Oh, they're all dead. So you can just kind of forget about everyone you've learned about there, and even there you've learned kind of very little about all of them.
I think the payoff works in the sense that you've got a lot of people who've been happy to be hangers-on and clingers-on around a very dirty secret, keeping it in the closet, if you will. It's not just for that specific thing, it's general hiding information. They've been happy to do that. We get that most of them are not good people, and they are finally trapped. Just as you've gotten all the information you need to work out why there's so much tension, then it's paid off. That's what I think makes it work. But the mechanics of it are rather tricky.
I don't even know if I agree with that. The only people the only person we should say who is guilty here is the father, and maybe the nanny, helped him cover it up. But Stinky Pete, and then the brother and Rebecca and Pemberton's character, they're the only ones in any way involved in it at all, if you can call it that. Everyone else is just. Why is he killing them?
It's collateral damage, Haryan. It's collateral damage.
It is collateral.
And also, if you think about it as well, if he doesn't want it to be tied back to him, then having some people that aren't linked to what happened in the past, it kind of,
which I guess is why he's hesitant at the end when he's playing with the lighter. But in my head canon, he obviously does it because he knows otherwise he's going to jail. But he kills 5 innocent people. Well, no, more than that. 1 guilty person in that closet, I'd say. Maybe 2 if the nanny helped cover it up.
If I can, Haryan. So you've got Timothy West, who I recall made a wonderful King Lear, as a chief diddler. Then you've got the nanny who helps cover him up. The children are all aware of it.
But what are they supposed to do?
Well, not associate, I suppose, if he hasn't faced any justice. You've got the corporate guys who just want to use him for the connections, even though they despise him, etc. But there's still at least 5 people in there who do not deserve it. But that's fine. This is part of the tragedy, you know, that they are collateral. I think we could probably have a bit more concern over the mechanics of how did Pip know it was happening. In what order have people arrived that people think he's Ian and don't know that he's got a different activity? Like, has no one met him and said, no, you're not Ian, this other person is Ian, we haven't collected him yet?
Yeah, it's the mechanic part of this is so, you know, he knows they're going to play Sardines because they always play Sardines. That bit's fine. How does he guarantee he chooses the hiding place? Well, he goes first. How does he guarantee he goes first? Well, if he's being awkward Ian, who doesn't really know anyone.
Surely someone would say you're not Ian.
I will say that it's entirely possible. I mean, okay, it's safe to assume that this was the first game because the rules are kind of established as you go along. But it could easily be a case that they might have played, obviously not in this specific case, but you know, it's possible that they may have played multiple games. And then, obviously, when it gets to Ian's turn, that's when the plan could be executed. It just so happens that for the purpose of this story, it's quite evident that Ian is the first one to go because the rules of Sardines are explained to other characters as well. So, obviously, that wouldn't have happened if that all took place before the start of the episode.
Yeah, which I don't expect them to in half an hour. I mean,
no. But I think it makes sense. Yeah. It would make sense if they played multiple games that Ian's plan could have still come to fruition if.
Well, as I say, things for this all to kind of line up, he has to have, you know, he knows they're going to play Sardines, so it's like 100%. That's fine. Make sure he's picked as the first hider.
That's fine.
I don't know. Is that fine? I don't know how he does that.
I think none of them are that keen on it, so I think he could have very easily popped his hand up and said, "Oh yeah, I'll do it. That sounds cool."
Which then, well, doing that. Let's assume he did that. How is he then not recognised as not Ian?
That's my big problem. Is how is he not recognised as not Ian? That's exactly it. I mean, I love this episode so much, but it's.
I mean, he only starts introducing himself after the fact, doesn't he? I mean, that's an interesting point. Nobody knows.
Yeah, he never says he's Ian to the guy, which then leads me to ask, how the hell does that happen?
And also, it's interesting as well because you've got oh god, what was his name? Is it Julian? Mark, I beg your pardon. Mark, who calls him Colin as well, so he actually misnames him.
Yeah.
And I think Lee, who is the no, not Lee. Mark. No. I can't remember his name. But
this is the other thing I hate about this episode, by the way. There's so many characters.
So many people.
You don't learn anything about any of
them. Sorry, Jeremy. I beg your pardon. Jeremy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he. Yeah, I think he's in the room. Is he in the room at the time? Is he in the closet at the time?
I can't. I think he is. Yeah.
Or either that, or he's he comes in. I think he comes in after the fact. I think he comes in.
But he does introduce himself as Ian to people initially.
Right. He makes it very clear. You know, I'm Ian. I work in IT. I love that two of the characters are Mark and Jeremy as well. Very Peep Show.
Yeah, that's it. The only person that knows he's not Ian only comes into the room after he's hidden the bathroom. And people have to start forgetting about him. Which I suppose is that's another reason, obviously, to have all these people. One, it makes the closet claustrophobic. Two, it makes you forget about Ian. But I don't know. I see all these as neutrals rather than kind of positives for the episode.
It's the sort of necessary mechanics. That hide what's really going on. It's kind of like a magic trick, really, isn't it? Just misdirecting you.
I mean, I suppose it is entirely plausible to criticize the plan as well. I mean, if Jeremy got there beforehand and saw him, and you know he'd already introduced like himself to others as Ian, and then sort of had to keep up that pretense. So there is a level of convenience there. I just don't think it really. It's fine to point. It's fine to point out. It's fine to point out, and it is legitimate because I was thinking about this after watching the show, especially because I think I watched it a second time afterwards, and I was thinking like there are things in the show that you know are questionable. But I don't think it really mattered in terms of like how it affected the story overall. Like these are things that you can point out, of course, absolutely. But I think as for what the show tried to intend to do, I think it delivered on that.
Well, even then, what was the intention? It was to show you a story of people being complicit in a crime, and but then at the end of the day, what's the only bit that matters? Well,
but the thing is, like throughout the show, you're getting that
it was nonced.
Yeah, but the thing is, like during that show, during the episode, sorry, you're getting that general sense of uncomfortableness and unease, and you know, you're getting these you're getting these backgrounds as well. So I think I think in a way by setting it in the atmosphere that they do it in, like a confined area, given what the what Andrew was doing, Andrew.
What a name.
was doing. I know, right? Lives in a big house. He's quite a well-off geezer. He's old, and his name's Andrew, and he likes to.
Did he sweat in this episode? I don't think he sweat.
I didn't see a single sweat.
Yeah, there we go.
Did he bring up Pizza Express?
I don't think so. I don't think so. He might have mentioned Domino's. Can't remember.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, that sort of that claustrophobic sort of like there's nowhere to escape kind of energy kind of resonates a little bit with what what his son Pip and Stinky John may have felt during those experiences. So I think it was trying to emanate a lot of that through the through the atmosphere, through the setting that they were using, and I thought that was quite cool.
I love that it was dropping clues that you put together that you do have to think. Big fan of that, and I'm fully giving up here that yes, there's a cheat. There is a cheat relying on some convenience, a few points of convenience, but I like the payoff so much, and I like having to. I like putting the clues together and on a rewatch, just spotting where things were dropped. Oof, wonderful. So, you know, we're fair on this. We'll point out that they did cheat a teeny tiny bit a few times, but the payoff was wonderful and haunting.
I will say as well. I think in terms of like the comedic aspect to it as well. I think it served well as like as a distraction to the main story. Like you sort of getting these little nuggets of little nuggets of information for the big reveal, but then it's like thrown off by like Reece Shearsmith being like saying to Lee under the bed, like, "Oh yeah, come on, yeah, keep going," like just completely throws you off. And it's like,
oh, he's having a great time.
Yeah.
I wonder
like
if they sometimes fight over who gets to be lively and who gets to be the straight man. I don't know. I'd love to know if they have that debate.
They'll probably flip a coin.
Yeah.
Also, can we take a moment to appreciate the subtle little BlackBerry message at BBM?
What's that?
All the time. The BBM. BBM. You messaged me on BBM. BlackBerry Messenger.
Oh no, I've
yeah. The Reece says that, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, missed that. Okay.
Because Rachel's like, oh, you know, we message on BBM. And Rebecca turns around and is like, oh, yeah. Jeremy messages me on BBM all the time too. Yeah. like just get a one up.
Yeah. There's also an aspect to this, and we'll see in some of these that we talk about, that they are dealing with very specifically British issues. Like there's quite a few stories.
That's a British issue?
Well, I think this thing of, you know, someone a bit high up in society has been getting away with it. It's a bit. I think
it's true. Harvey Weinstein was just let off.
Jeffrey Epstein, local British man. Is that what you're saying?
Very, very different situation, I would say. Like he was a dodgy agent businessman versus like a member of the establishment. Yeah, I don't know. It has a different vibe to me, although they will get into, they do specific. Dr. Prepper talks about class difference. Yeah. So much of this was sort of British class system humor and how that's been breaking down. There's just so much constantly going on with new people that you get to the sort of end of the episode. I don't know if you even start to think, wait, where is this going? Where's the plot?
I definitely thought that.
Oh,
Hang
you
on, sorry.
zoomer.
I'm sorry. I'm just reading that Harvey Weinstein thing. I did not even know that was only a couple of hours ago. Jesus.
Yeah, no, literally today is he did nothing wrong.
No.
Oh dear.
That means Scream 3 wasn't predicting the future.
Oh man, you have to rewrite history now. Jesus.
Oh, have we been too harsh on Harvey?
But I mean, having said that, yeah, that's definitely a criticism, even if it maybe is a zoomer criticism for me. Plot only really happens in the last 20 seconds of this episode.
It's untraditional plotting. Untraditional.
The pacing's just flatline until you get to the end, and then it's a cliff edge.
Oh,
yeah, but I think
no, I'm not having that, Haryan.
It is a slow setup, but I think it works well in this scenario because again, it's just a generally awkward environment. Like you don't really know where it's going to go. Like who has the who's got the problem? It's only really once the dad comes in the picture that it starts to become more apparent as to where the resentments lie and then that ending just sort of goes, oh, okay, when you realise Ian is not Ian.
Well, that's my thing. The dad comes in the last literally 5 minutes before the end, and that's only really where the main driver of the plots actually gets started. And I guess with the rest of it, characters. I'm only probably interested in about 3 characters in this whole Sardine episode.
Yeah.
I think that's my other thing. Like they've just, which I think is a shame because I don't know why Inside Number 9 does this, but when they get an actor in that isn't Reece or Pemberton, they don't use them again. And so in my mind, it's like, oh, you've wasted quite a few good actors with this episode.
I think the only one they've used twice is Derek Jacobi. And I think both times he was doing a voiceover.
Yeah,
but,
right. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at the time. We should probably move on. If that's okay with you folks.
No, I think we've covered this one.
Thank you. Haryan, this is your moment. This is I'm going to do this second because I think you have a lot to say. I really liked this episode, The Riddle of the Sphinx. I found it fascinating, involving, enthralling. Oh my goodness. And such an interesting thing to focus on, how they made the world of cryptic crosswords something they could explain in a really fun, dramatic way. You surely must have loved this absolute banger, Haryan.
I want to say it right now. All cryptic crosswords are puzzles for midwits. That is all they are. They suck. They're ridiculous. I did this last time I watched this episode. I started trying cryptic crosswords. Can't get my head around half of them. So I start going on the internet looking around for forums, and half the people in the forums are like, yeah, this doesn't make any sense. I'm like, oh, great puzzle.
Can I just say that this episode redefined the definition of eat that ass?
That is true, it did.
Oh dear. All right. Take us through it, Haryan, for people who didn't see this episode. The Riddle of the Sphinx, which is actually, gosh, when is it from? Season 3?
Season 3, yeah. Yeah, I was surprised at how early it was.
Talk people through it. Let's go for the Guinness summary of this one.
I need reminding of their names. I can't remember the woman's name, but okay, so
you could just call her the Whammon.
That is what I was going to do.
Call her the Whammon.
So the Whammon here sneaks in to Pemberton, the professors. Is it? I guess it's study room at a university at night.
He is a professor, yeah.
Yeah. When she gets caught, he asks, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And she explains, "Well, my boyfriend who studies architecture, he is massively into these crosswords. I don't get them, so I basically wanted to cheat and impress him." And so the professor says, the professor's got a gun as well, by the way, which I always find funny, because I can't imagine any professor in any British institution, full stop, owning a gun, given how leftist they all are. But anyway, ignoring that bit, he starts then going through how to solve said puzzle. And,
hold on.
Yeah,
Haryan, come on.
Yeah,
they gave the explanation for the gun.
Yeah, I know they gave the explanation for the gun. I still find it funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So great little detail. I'm sorry to hop on this.
No,
but,
go on. Yeah.
they mentioned it was from a Chekhov play. I don't remember which one. Was it the Seagull? But because I mentioned that, you think, oh, hang on, Chekhov. Chekhov played Chekhov's gun. Huh.
Yeah. Very on the
Nice
nose.
little hat tip to people. They're aware of the...
That is definitely the best part of this episode.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
No, it's
I'm
okay.
just trying to raise the score for this subtly.
Oh, yeah. Well, look, I hate this episode. I still think you'll be surprised by the score at the end.
All right.
So as the episode goes on, half the episode is basically a tutorial for newcomers to cryptic crosswords and how they work. Some of the rules make sense. Some of the rules are just nonsense. But they try and play it as if it's not nonsense, which I always find funny because I'm sure to some people it's not, but that's people who learn these rules. And so as it goes through, obviously this the woman talks obviously about her boyfriend and how he's in architecture, but actually at one point, quite late in the episode, is when the story starts. Definitely over the halfway point. She makes some tea for them, and suddenly the professor's paralyzed, and she starts saying, "Oh, I have used some poison to paralyze you," and then she starts solving a load of clues in the puzzle, which I don't know why her brain doesn't give off alarm bells there, but okay, because that's explained later as well. Anyway, it turns out no, the professor's faking his paralyzation, and he actually swapped the cups, which that was an answer in the crossword as well, wasn't it?
I swapped cups. It's not an answer as such, but it just like if you go diagonally down, then end towards the bottom.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah,
that's the one.
Yeah. And so it turns out that then, she's paralyzed. Oh, we knew it was going to happen.
He Uno reverse carded her.
He literally Uno reverse carded her. Yeah. And so he brings in a marine biologist professor, and the woman was studying marine biology. And it turns out that she told him the plan that she was going to kill him. And just big spoilers at this point, because I don't really care. I hate this episode. Turns out that she was his daughter. So then you may think, so why has he told the other professor about it? Well, it's because it turns out it turns out that there was a cryptic crossword competition that they think that the professor cheated in. And then because he cheated in it, her brother was in that competition as well and came second and killed himself over it. Oh, this is YouTube. Committed self-forever sleep over it. And so, oh God, when he died, in the mortician's report, for some reason, this doesn't happen in real life, by the way, but they did a DNA test. Yeah, they did a 23andMe and found out that, it's not actually his son. And then he infers that neither of them are his kids. I can't remember how he concludes that. And so in an act of revenge, he forced his own daughter to be paralyzed, cut off a piece of a bum, fried it, forced the professor to then
ingest
eat it. Yeah. I think he just leaves her to die, and then obviously the Chekhov's gun's there for the professor to shoot himself, and then it says on the cryptic crossword, and this was the only bit that wasn't intentional. It says, I think it says RIP NHS, which is like his initials, Nigel Harold Spenderton or whatever. Made that
Spenderton.
And that's how the episode ends with the marine biologist professor getting his revenge and killing his own daughter.
Now, why that specific fate for him?
Why pop it tap in his brain?
Jacob's misses.
Yes.
Because of his cryptic crossword pseudonym is the Sphinx.
Yes.
And in the mythology, yes. So
what's the mythology again? I did watch this a week ago. I can't remember the mythology of it now.
So, from what I remember, is the it wasn't Cleopatra, was it? But basically, in Egypt, they would you posed a riddle to the Sphinx to gain entry into Egypt. I think, and if you failed, you'd basically be offed.
Yeah, right.
But if you got the riddle, then you
Offed and eaten.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, offed and eaten. Yes. But if you got it right, then you were granted entry, which is a very interesting concept for immigration. Maybe Sunak might want to consider that.
Oh, 0 seats.
Get off, 0 seats.
I should have done another spooky Rishi, shouldn't I?
0 seats, yeah.
0 seats. Maybe I'll set one up quickly. So what was the problem, Haryan? What made you so unhappy?
I know what the problem was. I can tell you exactly what the problem was. Haryan got inspired to do crossword puzzles because of this episode. Then he realised he sucked and he blamed the show for it.
Oh, yeah. But I'm not going to lie. Part of the reason I hate this episode is because I absolutely hate cryptic crosswords.
Well, there is a poll running at the moment. Chat, if any of you are only listening, there is a poll running where you can vote whether cryptic crosswords are based or cringe. So get in there. We do want to know. Currently, based is winning.
I just want to throw this out. Proper Horror Show, 73% of your audience are midwits. I don't make the rules.
I like a cryptic crossword. I'm a fan of them.
Nah.
I will. I can't believe you forgot to mention the fact that after realizing that Pemberton's character was Nigel Squires, not Pemberton, whatever you said it was.
Spembly Warner
was the real father of Nina. It makes the whole bit earlier on in the episode really, really gross when he.
When he nearly does
the underslips bit.
Yeah,
and puts a hand, strokes it up the leg underneath the skirt, gives her he basically does a Luke Skywalker layer moment.
I think he does a worse thing than that, to be fair. But yeah, definitely. Well,
yeah, poisoning a daughter's not good. But
absolutely. Yeah. I think I have a problem with pretty much every aspect of this plot. When I said this is absolute garbage, obviously I was being hyperbolic because I hate cryptic crosswords and I will never let that go.
I feel that's the chief thing for why you hate this episode.
Yeah, but it just sucks as well. The plan doesn't make. Well, no, the plan. To be fair, the plan actually does make some sense initially. Everything after that doesn't make any sense.
Man is so distraught over losing one of his children that he has the other one murdered. What's the problem, bro?
Well, I think the plan only really comes into effect once he realizes that he lost a child, and then realized the other one, neither of them were his, and it was all because of Pemberton.
I can't imagine any father that would, not even if he found out their own 21-year-old child that they'd been raising wasn't theirs. I can't imagine any that would kill them.
Dude, have you not seen my channel?
Yes,
there were women on my channel. In fact, Horrorshow, you featured on this one where they literally kill or take YouTube friendly word their own children just so that they can hook up with a geezer. This is entirely possible. This is entirely plausible.
Yeah, but let's be fair. That wasn't a university professor of marine biology.
It doesn't matter.
It does. It does. I'm just saying, not many university professors are murderers.
No, not all. Hashtag not all. Okay, yeah. All right.
Haryan, would it be fair to say that this is it's a tight plot, it's complex, but the only problem is how unlikely it is that people would take this method. So she's come up with this plan of revenge, of intricate poisoning, and the marine biology professor is in on it and is planning to double cross both of them. That everyone has such conflicting amounts of information that for the events to play out as needed,
Everyone has to be an idiot. Yes.
Not an idiot, but there are so many places where they could have diverted from the plan.
Well, you gotta realize with the Sphinx, he wrote an entire crossword to explain that he is killing someone. Someone is gonna notice that. People notice that when it went in the Times.
Yeah, but it's literally pointed out though, isn't it? It's pointed out by Dr. Jacob when he's when it's like, oh, it's just an accident. He's like, no, because of your narcissism and your ego, you put it in a crossword. You've just proved premeditation. So it's very intentional for the story.
Yeah, I know.
So
it's
it just
shows.
shows.
It has to be an idiot. That's my point.
But, that's it. Yeah, but it's not that he's being an idiot. Well, I mean, he is being an idiot to a degree, but it's more to do so with his own narcissism and his sort of smug. I'm.
Yeah, but you can be a smart. Yeah, but you can be a smart narcissist. He wasn't being a smart narcissist, and that's why I don't like the episode. That's why I don't think the episode's very good, because they have to
narcissists could be stupid. Narcissists could be stupid as well.
Yeah, that's not my point.
He's an expert at crosswords. He's an expert at crosswords, not evading murder. Not evading a murder charge.
Yeah, no. I know narcissists can be idiots, but the story would be better if he wasn't an idiot. Is my point.
How so? I'm intrigued
because of all these so how do you put this? Well, it's like anything. Like when if you watch any show and the whole plot is moved forward by people's very, very poor decisions that just happen to work out. I mean, it happened to work out to the point where it's double crossed here. But if this story went differently and he wasn't double crossed, like you'd expect the police to be involved. Like, there's been a murder. Oh, you've admitted it to yourself. Now you're going to jail. I don't believe that he would ever let that be a risk.
Hold on. So one of the things is he doesn't know that the poison is irreversible.
Okay.
So as far as he knows, there's a bit of rough totty who's furious at him, seething, and is coming in to get the better of him. And he doesn't want to be outsmarted because, as you said, massive narcissist. So he likes the idea of getting the better of her, which drives him to do the crossword and show how clever he is. He thinks that he'll swap the cups, paralyze her, he'll give her a bit of a goosing, and send her on her way once his mate comes along with the antidote. And she'll have been humbled, she'll have learnt the lesson, she'll have been beaten by the mighty clever Sphinx, and he'll have managed to cop a feel. That's what he thinks is going on.
I want to challenge you on this.
Oh,
not you, Horrorshow. I really want to challenge Haryan on this whole it's not believable that somebody would essentially write their own crimes down.
I'm not necessarily saying it's not believable. I'm saying it's bad. I'm saying it makes a bad story. Of course.
Have you ever heard of Vlado Taneski?
No.
Okay, so he was a crime writer who. He was like a journalist, but he was also a crime writer, and he basically, I can't remember what country he was from, but essentially he became notorious because he was able to get like the insight of these killings that were going on to do with the serial killer, and the reason why he had the insight was because he was the serial killer. Right. He was publishing works about killings that he had carried out, almost like OJ if I did it style, but removing himself from that equation. But what I think where he goofed up was he was providing information that were in the books, in the articles that were not released to the public, that nobody other than the investigators and the killer themselves would know. And as Mr. Gently Benevolent points out, absolutely, Jessica Fletcher is another prime example of someone who wrote down all her crimes.
Yeah, I'm not doubting that people write down all their crimes.
Yeah,
but again,
I get that it's stupid. I get it, it's stupid, but as I say, but the fact that there are real world examples of it, for me, I'm like, yeah, okay, this is believable. Somebody would be as egotistical as this character to do something like that. So I can see it.
That first example, was he writing it down and publishing it? You're saying?
Yeah. So he was
in fictionalized novels.
No. He was talking about the very murders he committed. He was publishing them in papers. But yeah, he was providing
What an
information in
idiot.
there that nobody. I know. It's that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
literally like.
But again, what was his life like? Like, what did he do with his life? If you know what I mean.
I'm just reading it up now. He
No, it's
mostly
fine.
filed stories about local council debate. So he was like he was like a local journalist, and there wasn't really anything.
So he had a bad job. Well, this is the thing. But this guy's a crossword. The reason did
they're
that
not one to one. Yeah, they're not one to one
Yeah.
comparable. But what I'm saying is like there is something where you can
There is
you can compare it
precedent.
to. Yeah, his name was Vladimir Putin.
No, I know, but this is my point. This man's a narcissist, but as any university professor would be. But he's already a university professor, top of his field. Makes his narcissism's kind of already being fed. I can understand if
never enough, man. Never enough.
Well, maybe. I just can't. I can't imagine him not being careful enough to, I don't think he'd asked for the student newspaper to publish this. Or
I think he would. I genuinely think he would. But
all right,
can I just say, Dead End Satellite? I like the people coming in for agreeing with what my theory on Jessica Fletcher, at least. I feel very, very validated right now. It was Vlado Taneski. A bit in the chat. Yeah.
So
spell that.
I mean, even going that far, and even then, Pemberton listening to Shearsmith's, oh, you're about to be killed, by the way. She'll use pufferfish. Wouldn't I mean, I suppose part of it is that he doesn't know that she's his daughter, does he?
Yeah, exactly.
Nope.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. Yeah. Okay. But would he not have large questions about why is a student trying to kill me? Kind of worry about that a bit more rather than do this whole crossword.
I think he might have been briefed on that and still thinks he can outsmart them.
Oh, was it just?
Well, yeah, because Nina and Jacob obviously collaborated.
Yeah,
and then Jacob briefed. So he knew from the outset that like the day that she was going to break in. So so he was briefed exactly as to what was going to happen on that night. So which gave him the time to do things like write the crossword puzzles, to set it all up, to swap the cups.
I mean, I'm not a crossword writer, obviously, because I hate them. But so I don't know how long it takes. Yeah, I know, but I'm not being funny. But marine biology, they clearly have a big storeroom of which would include pufferfish. This is the type of thing that you could do overnight, which I don't know how long it takes the average person to make a cryptic crossword, but I wouldn't be surprised if they have about 10 writers for them on the Times, because they don't seem easy to write.
I feel I should put in here. This grew out of a bit of a fascination of Steve Pemberton's.
Yes.
And I think people have written it in the chat already, so forgive me, guys. I know you know this already. But he really got into it, and he actually published a fair few crosswords as a Sphinx. They got into it. Pretty good.
Yeah. Well, no, well, this is my thing with the episode. It feels very much like Steve Pemberton wanted to show off how much he knows about cryptic crossword puzzles and put that first behind the story.
They've done that a few times. The first episode, like a lot of it has sort of, I think, how can I say? A few episodes have very clearly arisen out of them having a brief fascination with something.
Yeah.
So they had an episode all around the Commedia dell'arte. One was all about a kind of Shakespearean takeoff in iambic pentameter. That was the first episode of season 4, I believe. One of the ones I really struggled to get through. I didn't enjoy it at all.
Was that the Macbeth one? Was it Macbeth?
No. It was one in a hotel.
Right. Okay.
That's one of my favorite episodes.
I know, but I don't like humor, Haryan. I don't like it.
Oh, right.
I don't like laughing.
I don't like horror.
You're very tolerant. You came and watched Human Centipede.
No, that was just that was comedy, though.
Should that be our commentary, Haryan? Should we do Human Centipede Part 2?
Oh God, you couldn't put that on YouTube. You couldn't put
Yeah,
that.
you just do the audio commentary. Actually, no, describing what's happening. Yeah, we
No,
would
no.
have a problem.
Nerd explains who I have been binge watching recently. The geezer's hilarious. You need to check him out.
It was fun, yeah.
He covered Human Centipede 3.
Oh no.
Right.
Yeah, but he skipped over 2.
The third Human Centipede
Yeah.
is immoral, I'm afraid.
Exactly.
Is it? That seems like the funnest one.
Oh dear. TCG, anything on this one?
I thought
else you want to go for?
I don't know why Haryan's been such a mood hoover. I thought this was quite fun.
Because I hate crosswords.
Yeah, but I don't do crosswords either. I just thought this whole little cat and
No.
mouse sort of thing going on was quite fun. And yeah,
Um,
don't know. I'm just a simpleton.
I really enjoyed learning something. I like a cryptic crossword. I loved seeing this explained. I thought it moved so incredibly fast. And it's such an intricate episode. It's one of the best cases of just no time is wasted in it. I have got to say, like, having watched quite a few of them, by the time I saw this, I was how can I say, a bit primed to notice what the clues are. So when we saw that photo of him at the championship with an awkward looking guy in the frame, I was like, there's no way that guy is in there by accident.
Yeah.
Not a chance.
Oh yeah.
So at that point, you're getting a bit better at reading how they write episodes.
Oh
But
yeah.
it still worked very well. I'm thinking, like, I'm looking forward to hearing the scores at the end, but bearing in mind, sadly, the need to have an efficient stream due to bunker-related events. Are you guys okay if we move on to the next episode?
Let's do it.
No, I need to explain how I hate cryptic crosswords more.
Well, look, I'm going to get the results of the poll here. I'll end the poll now. Oof. Oh, dear. I mean, look, it's 60-40. 60-40.
Based.
I can't tell you how much I would have lost my mind if it turned out to be 48-52.
The meme result. Or 71%, the YouGov special.
I just want to say 40% of you have big brains. That is all.
Hello, Mima. Good to see you dropping in. No, you're definitely not late. If you want to go back on the replay, you can see our discussion of Sardines and the mystery of the Sphinx. Riddle of the Sphinx, I think. We are now going to move into our final episode. So your timing is all right. You know, Patrick Batman's raised something here. We should talk about this bit of lore. Did you guys know about the hair?
No.
The hair. I think I remember.
I'm ahead of you, Patrick. Here we go. It is a tradition inside number 9. Sorry, inside number 9. Let's try that again. There is an iconic little statue of a hare, and it is in every episode somewhere. Sometimes very hard to spot. So there's a photo of it turning up in this episode. There is an episode, I think you loved it, Haryan. The one where Steve Pemberton kind of looks like Walter White in Breaking Bad. You know the one. It's a very monkey's paw one, and they build the hair directly into the logic. But you can watch out for this wonderful little one. You know what? I'm going to get a better image of it
now, because I'm too busy like looking for the number 9. I always get a bit disappointed when like the number 9 is like blatantly in your face at the start of the episode. I like it when it's like suddenly like thrown in.
I'm going to. Oh, I've got a good one for you here. There we go. There's a nice one of it. I'm such a boomer. Sorry. There we go. There's one of it. Should we find it inside number 1? Hair, Sardines. Where does it? Well, let's see where it turns up in.
Which episode's that?
The Confederate flag.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Godzilla. Nothing's wrong with that. I just can't remember what episode this is. If anything, it's based.
I'm just looking for. Oh gosh, where is it? There's a whole website where they've got all the hairs and where you find them.
What?
Yeah.
They've changed as
Okay.
well. They hid one lepus in the crossword, which is a hare.
Right, understudy. Where are we? I'm
Love these
looking
quotes, man.
for. Oh gosh. Sorry, guys. I realise this is bad stream, but now I'm hooked on it and I have to find it.
Am I going to have to come out the closet?
Hang on, I've got him. I've got him right. I'm going to share that. There you go.
Remember, we need a really efficient stream.
Hey.
Yeah, but the hair, guys. The hair. All right, there. So he's in the background there. You can see my mouse on screen. Slipping in Bernie Clifton's dressing room. The hair is always there. And they do come up with a sort of in-episode reason for it.
What is the meaning? What's the meaning?
And the meaning of the hair is, as I say, it's associated with trickery and witchcraft. And that becomes pivotal to the episode. But I think they just liked the idea of slipping it in. To be honest. Something for people to notice.
I mean, you would notice if it was being slipped in, but there we go.
Oh dear. All right. So now when you watch the
fish poison.
Yeah.
Right, go on.
Dear. Next stream we do. Next 3 episodes, you got to look for that hair. I'm going to challenge you to find it yourselves.
You have to remind me.
All right, will do. Yeah, I just think it's cute. You find yourself looking for it. Right. This episode, the final one we're going to talk about, is Bernie Clifton's dressing room. I chose this because I think it's showing their emotional range, it's showing their writing range, and it's also incredibly meta. I really wish I'd watched my phrasing. Gosh darn.
Clip it.
I'm burning up on that one. Okay. So Bernie Clifton's dressing room starts with the very straight-laced, very dour Thomas, played by Reece Shearsmith. In this one, he's dour, he's a straight man, and Steve Pemberton gets to be wild and wacky and bring all the energy. They love doing this contrast. He's turning up in an old church hall. There's all sorts of bric-a-brac and random props around. It looks quite odd. And then he's joined by this very dishevelled old guy, played by Steve Pemberton, whose name I have immediately forgotten. Gosh, what's his name? Bloomin' heck.
Crackers.
Yeah, Crackers. Can we call him
Crackers?
What's his name? Is it Tommy?
It's Len, isn't it?
Len. God damn. I never remember any names.
Did Len find the rabbits?
Carry on. Okay. And it turns out they were once a double act at the end of the 80s, we can assume, called Cheese and Crackers. They didn't, rise particularly high in the ranks. They did a little bit of TV. They did one series. They did the variety show spots performing around the country, as you would. And then it all sort of fell apart. And you gather that Bernie Clifton's dressing room is pivotal to this. I see this as a popular as well. Soul Foodie One, you have good taste. I cried at this again. Rewatching it, I cried at it again. Still got me. Okay.
Oh, yeah. When I first watched Inside No.9s, I think I watched them with my dad. I think we got up to season 4 or 5. Can't remember, but
yeah,
my dad has this habit of every time there's something in a show that's clearly about to make him tear up, he won't tear up, and instead he'll just say pathos.
Shallow and pedantic.
I remember, I think the first time I ever did that was the episode of The Simpsons where it's with the one where everyone tears up, where it's got Maggie's pictures in Homer's workstation.
Oh, do it for her, yeah.
Do it for her, yeah. I remember that, and Dad just went, pathos. Yeah, it does bring a tear to your eye, doesn't it?
That's reserved. That's reserved. Does he ever say the trouble is it insists upon itself?
He's never said it insists upon itself. No.
Okay.
No, he gets annoyed when I start doing my classic Haryan thing of analysing the plot. He says, "Oh, just shut up and enjoy it."
All right.
But it's so bad.
Okay. All right. Back to this. So, Cheese and Crackers were there at the end of variety show performances. Americans, we will explain this. I realise that might sound weird to you. Then they split up, went their separate ways. Evidently, Tommy Thomas did well, and Len has fallen on hard times. This is a classic contrast that builds the energy between them, that drives the episode, and the tension of finding out what happened, what went wrong. And they're preparing for a final reunion performance, and Tommy's very reluctant. Len is very keen on it, and they're going through material that's pretty dated and just trying to sort of get along with that simmering tension bubbling away there. And eventually it all bursts out, and you find out that Tommy had to sabotage things and end it because Len was an alcoholic, and the fame was getting to his head and encouraging him to drink even more, making him a liability, him getting so drunk that he nearly died choking on his own vomit in Bernie Clifton's dressing room. And so they went their separate ways, but Len never really got better. And the big spoiler, Len is imagined. It's all in Tommy's head as he's preparing to go over the routine for the sake of Len's daughter, played by Sian Phillips, another Taskmaster contestant, who comes in for basically a 1-minute scene at the end, as it's a bit of a reunion of lots of British variety show acts to see Len off. And yeah, it's a final performance, and at that point I usually cry my little eyes out as they go off sort of singing their own song, Tears of Laughter.
Now you know how to prevent that. Pathos.
Yeah, just say pathos.
Pathos, yeah.
This one hit me very hard. I think it is very personal to them. Americans in chat, if I say variety show, do you know what I mean? Possibly not. Basically, sorry guys, I'm going on this a bit. Just to set the scene, this is incredibly British. They're talking about a period in British entertainment that I don't think will have travelled over the pond, but for a large part of the sort of 60s to 80s, we would have variety acts, and there would often be double acts who would go around the country, do performance in theatres regionally, and then they started getting on the telly, and it became quite a thing. So you have the big names like Morecambe and Wise early in the days, through to sort of slightly more risky adult acts in the 80s, when you have like Cannon and Ball, Little and Large, Hale and Pace. TCG, have you heard those names in a while?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Who am I forgetting? The Crankies were mentioned.
Well, yes, I suppose to a degree, Enfield and Whitehouse.
Yeah, to an extent.
Yeah.
I mean, that was always a lot more TV, whereas I think the variety show acts were basically doing on TV what they did in theatres. So, Catherine, I think it's not really bad daytime TV. It's sort of in the 80s, they would just be put on a show to basically redo their theatrical double act, do a lot of routines that they do in the theatre, and a lot of it now looks really dated. But that's a kind of thing they would do, just like these little double act sketches, these more intricate performances that are very prop based and designed to sort of hit it off in a theatre or a working man's club. And on TV,
it's only really Tim Vine that does this these days, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you say Smith and Jones as well?
Oh yeah, of course, Smith and Jones.
Yeah.
Good call. Mike and Bernie Winters, yeah. Oh, Benny and Hill. Oh, Mr. GB, deeply subversive. Yeah.
I am such a zoomer.
Fry and Laurie. Not quite. So by the time Fry and Laurie, as far as I gather, were basically just a TV double act, whereas a variety show, it's all about did they tour? Did they tour little theatres and traditional working men's clubs doing this act and then transfer it to the TV? Whereas I think Fry and Laurie came in later and basically wrote sketches for television. Queendom has nailed it, actually. Yeah, Descendant of Music Hall Acts would be much quicker.
Yeah.
That's a much better way of explaining it. Bobby Davro.
Bobby Davro.
Bobby Davro, absolutely.
I was going to say, yeah, Fry and Laurie, they came straight from Footlights, so they were theatre, but went straight to TV.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that? Sorry to interrupt. Have you seen that footage of Bobby Davro when he's in the stocks? And he falls
they
forward.
show it. They show it in a Inside No.9 episode.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, the fake live episode.
Brian Connolly, yes, Brian Connolly, yes.
Yeah. Queendom. No, not like the League of Gentlemen. So League of Gentlemen only works on TV. It's specifically written for TV. It's all about basically just bringing in music hall act. Murgoot kind of has it. Yeah, vaudeville. Bit of a vaudeville performance, right?
Edmondson and Rick Mail. Oh, Rick Mail, man. What a comedian.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. indeed. So the point is, this sort of stuff, what they're doing in this episode is kind of, for me, it's basically eulogizing that form of entertainment, and saying basically it is very dead. And at the same time, they're kind of addressing a bit of their own careers, because that's sort of the subtext of and meta of this episode, is that they are talking about their early work with League of Gentlemen. So there's a bit where they do the interview sketch where Steve just goes through a whole load of different impressions.
Oh, yeah.
And he does the Indian voice and the Chinese voice. And Tommy's like, oh, you can't do that now. You can't do that. And they're kind of talking about how they did the voices in League of Gentlemen. You know, they had the transsexual taxi driver. Was it Barbara?
Do you know what? For my sins, I didn't really watch League.
Barbara, you know, all that.
God, Chubby Brown.
It's the kind of thing, like, I know it's a cliche, but you wouldn't get away with that today.
Yeah.
And they're kind of talking about that as well. Sort of saying, how can I say, recognize that. I feel they're trying to say, like, yeah, we couldn't do it. It's not politically correct now, but it was never done with any malice. So they are sort of mourning that show, that style of comedy, but also defending it at the same time. Do you think?
I was gonna say that, almost saying you should almost be thankful we managed to get that out when we did, because it was totally. We all know it's funny, but we can't do that anymore, as Shearsmith is saying.
Yes, great quote here. For people who can't see that, Steve Shaney, I'm just really appreciating your avatar now that I can see it. Yes, the idea that they do Tina Turner with ping pong eyeballs. Yeah, so that'll be a tights over the head ping pong. I mean, I wish I'd seen it, but it makes me think of Little Britain as well. You know. And like they were literally doing the blacking up back in the day, eh? And
of course they were.
I can't believe Matt Lucas doesn't get more Twitter storms, given that he does Bake Off, because he used to do loads of blackface.
He did. I mean, he's got a few bits of identity protecting him, but I don't know. You do find it surprising, don't you? And League they kind of did blackface. You know, let's get him up. We're Papa Lazarou respecters, aren't we?
Hello, Dave.
Oh god, these are horrifying.
I couldn't believe when I watched League of Gentlemen with my dad as well. I can't believe that was only one sketch. I can't believe that's only one sketch of Papa Lazarus. It blows my mind. That seems like that would be a recurring thing, but it wasn't.
He does turn up a couple of times.
Oh, I don't remember.
I've got him. Here's your man. Here's Papa Lazarou.
Oh my days.
Ah, good times. Good times.
GB, that's oh god, what's that called?
Come Fly With Me.
Come Fly With Me, that's it. Yeah, it was a different sketch. It was a different show they did.
Oh, precious.
So
go to coffee shop at the other side of terminal.
So what I'm saying is basically this is some of the subtext of the episode that I think makes it more interesting. But I've yammered on for quite a while. So, guys,
sorry, was that Trudeau that you had up on the screen just then?
most successful prime minister ever. Right? Yeah.
Oh, God.
Go on. Give me your thoughts because I've just been yammering on for ages.
Yeah, the whole thing's just a character study of what's the guy, Tommy. It's all down to interpretation. What he really thinks is he actually embarrassed about his past, or is he just saying that as cope, as a kind of way to say, as his excuse to save his friend's life from alcoholism? You know, does he really think that you can't do that anymore? He shouldn't be able to do that anymore, or is he just saying that as an excuse to say, you know, this is why we couldn't do comedy anymore? When really, all he was trying to do was save his friend's life, which you know he did for years. But I'm also not sure if you're supposed to take that Len was actually homeless or not, because obviously he's dead, so all his stuff would be packed up anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think he might have had a bit of information fed to him by the daughter.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
and he's
that
just,
makes sense.
you know, she probably said, you know, it's it was hard times, etc. And then he's seen a few giveaway items, like the way he's got to keep his stuff in a bag, and pieced it together. But as you say, it's actually a very good point, Haryan.
I mean,
a lot of this will be information he's inferring, I believe.
Yeah, especially in the 30-year gap, because from the sounds of it, he just cut contact, which, again, this whole episode is about 20 minutes of him trying to cope about why he made the decision he made, and then a final, as we say, twist as to, it doesn't actually need to cope, and it turns out actually Len does appreciate that it was him that was screwing it up and that he had to do what he did. Hence, he got the £25 back. Which was very nice,
and that was very nicely set up.
Yes, it was.
I think.
Yeah, just a throwaway line. That's 25 quid I never saw again. And then he gets it in the end. Yeah, I mean, these two are masters of setup and payoff. Even with Sardines, I didn't like the payoff, but it was there. It was just all done in the last 5 minutes. Whereas
Haryan,
but wasn't this though?
Yeah.
If you're gonna make that criticism on Sardines, then surely the same would apply in this one, because it's very sort of sudden, isn't it? Like it is with Sardines.
The £25 is, but the £25 is it's as I say, that's more of it's a confirmation to Tommy that he's not coping.
It's more the revelation that is it Tommy?
My issue with Sardines,
Len's dead.
Yeah, my issue with Sardines is that the setup that he was nonced is only set up in the last 5 minutes.
No, absolutely
not having that.
No,
that's a paddling.
We're talking soon at the beginning, like, you know, that the fact that he doesn't want to be in the son doesn't want to be in that particular room. You know, there's the chemistry between him and his boyfriend, where, like I say, he's very sexually repressed. He's commented on how he doesn't like being touched and things like that. There's setups. There's setups there. It's not all in the last few seconds. So
you can beat me down for that. That's fair enough.
You are wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah.
If in terms of setup and payoff, I felt like this kind of. I mean, there's things that mirror this and Sardines. Like, this is all set in one shot. It's one, you know, it's in one. Yeah, it's set in one shot. Like, in terms of the setup payoff, the sort of the pacing of it feels very similar. So yeah, I think if you have those criticisms of Sardines, then yeah, they should cross over to this. This one for me though didn't. It didn't hit me, or it didn't sort of pull me in as much as the other two. And I think it might have just been because perhaps because for my sins, I never really watched the League of Gentlemen, so I might not have picked up on perhaps the commentary on what they were saying about their own show. Yeah, I felt like at the end of it, I felt, That's a bit Fight Club. Okay.
Well, I mean, as I said, obviously this whole story is just in his head, but his head is,
Yeah.
you know, he'll have had guilt eating at him for 30 years.
That's it. Yeah, I felt like, you know, when he was talking, because again, I did watch these back, and I felt like when I watched it the second time, the first time I watched it, I felt like he was like embarrassed about doing the routines again, and you know, it felt like there was almost like a level, like embarrassment, perhaps. I'd say perhaps the emotion that I got the first time, but I think the second time I watched it, it very much felt like it was more shame and regret and sadness that he didn't want to do it because it wasn't the same. You know, that's so. Yeah, I think the second time watching it was a bit of a different. With some different vibes I got from it.
I'd also throw out something that it did make me genuinely wonder about this culture of the variety acts and what happened to them. Because they include a couple of bits in this that are just quite representative, I'd say, of variety acts. A good impression of what they were, what they did, and it's definitely dated. But with stuff like the bottles routine, you do see that there is an intricacy behind there that's quite nice. And it did just get me thinking that, there was this whole culture, this whole roster of acts that basically disappeared. And you just never hear them anymore. Like Hale and Pace, to pick a random example.
Oh, they were great.
Well, they turned up randomly in the Extras Christmas special, if you remember that. The Ricky Gervais show.
Oh, God, I'm going to get slated. I didn't really watch Extras either.
Okay.
Oh, Extras was great.
Yeah, I'm not doubting that. It's just something I've never got round to watching. My wife loves it, though.
Fair play. Well, they show up basically as an example of how fleeting fame is. Like they can't get into the restaurant that Ricky Gervais's character Andy can get into, and it's just a foreshadowing of how he's going to lose his fame and lose his status, and it makes you,
Carl Pilkington's in that episode. That was a Christmas special.
He's an autograph hunter, isn't he?
yeah. Ricky Gervais says, "Do you want my autograph?" And he just says, "Nah, mate, you're all right."
Haryan, do these variety act names, do they mean anything to you?
Oh no, I'm a zoomer. I might know. There weren't any that popped out to me that I recognised, but I mean,
Morecambe and Wise you've heard of.
Morecambe and Wise I've heard of, yeah.
Two Ronnies,
yeah. That's probably about it though.
So pretty good example of how it is just a total genre that was kicked to the curb, that was wiped out, and just it gets you wonder what happened to those acts. Where are they?
They were replaced with the sketch show, from what I can tell. Especially if we're counting the Two Ronnies, that was a sketch show, really. And then
it was, yeah.
And then was replaced with more. They focused more on the sketches than because Two Ronnies show. They like introduced it and presented each sketch before where they actually got into it, didn't they?
That's right.
I could be corrected. I don't think they did the tours of the theatre halls. So I think they're a bit more of a TV double act than variety show, but I could be wrong. Someone could correct me. I'm not quite old enough for that stuff, to be honest.
So a Penn and Teller variety act, I'd say so.
Yeah, magic show though, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're not in the British context though.
No, but
I think Dead End Satellite has a good point here. Very good point. The alternative comedy scene killed it. Yeah. To an extent, they were a bit rough and ready. They were a bit more working class humour. And I think that possibly just didn't go down as well on TV in the 80s.
What would the alternative comedy scene like?
There'll be stuff like The Young Ones, Blackadder, Bottom, what's his name? Alexei Sale.
Men Behaving Badly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's more like sitcoms when you get into the late 80s, isn't it? And 90s.
Men Behaving Badly was great. Yeah.
Russ Abbott.
Russ Abbott, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Curtain
Sorry.
call.
Brits, we are having too much nostalgia right here. Oh dear. Also, like it's similar to the boy bands, isn't it, Harry? And those boy bands back in the day, you know, all the manufactured groups pumped out. Where are they now?
I know
they're
the
all
boy
in bloody
bands.
South Korea, aren't they? They're all in South Korea.
They in South Korea? Really? What? 5 are in South Korea? Are 911?
No, I mean
Korea?
like they're literally like the manufactured boy bands nowadays are all coming out of bloody South Korea, isn't they?
All right, so they're
is
not
like a proper
shipped off S Club.
It is literally like my son was telling me about it. He was telling me about it, like how there was like one group had like it was like 9 members, and they whittled them down to 7 because like 2 of them like made basic stuff mistakes. But I think Diatrip a while back made a video about like about K-pop in general and like how utterly relentless it is as an industry and how hard these people are worked. I would probably.
I remember Perfect Blue.
Wait, what a callback!
Probably more so like than the American and English counterparts, I'd say.
Well, yeah, the America and England, it's moved away from boy bands and just to single male singers like like George Ezra, Justin Bieber. Sam Smith, is he a person?
Hang on. Perfect Blue.
Oh, God. Copyright.
We'll have to in a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, copyright. Oh, who loves copyright? Copyright is so good. It's so good. Woo-hoo.
It's amazing. We love copyright.
Good.
Oh, no.
I did actually get busted for that the first time we played it.
Goddamn Uncle Ted.
Okay, sorry. We'll go back to it. All right. Oh no.
I am. Oh
no, guys.
Christ, Patrick. No.
Oh dear. Guys, we've got haunting. We're haunted by spooky Rishi. Guys, you know what to do. You know what will send him off.
0 seats. 0 seats.
I need 0 seats, chat. 0 seats, or we won't get rid of him. Flood it.
0 seats. 0 seats. 0 seats.
Oh, they're coming in.
Seats. Come on, Haryan. 0 seats.
Oh, Haryan, you're not voting Rishi in, are you? You're not ready for Rishi.
I'm not. I can't vote Rishi. I'm not in his constituency. But second, I'm one of the few people that don't think it's a good idea.
He's still there. He's still there, chat. I need good. Thank you, Catherine. You're doing your duty.
Step 1.
He's still there.
Right, look, step 1, Conservatives, 0 seats. We'll have 5 years of hell under Labour. In 5 years, we'll be saying to them 0 seats. And we'll have real change.
And then, in which direction? Where from?
Who cares, Haryan? Democracy is an illusion.
We got. Oh, well done, chat. That was a close one. That was a close one. Oh, how does he keep sneaking in?
Oh, God.
Terrible. Thank you, chat. Mr. GB delivering the killing blow there.
Oh, no.
That's going to look really weird to people looking back on this stream. Yeah. Yeah, so, gosh. I mean, I don't know if there is all that much more to say. I mean, I think we've got to it. Like, I like that they were interrogating sort of their own past a little bit, but this idea of like those acts, did they fall into a sort of really hard life? Did they end up being homeless? I know there was one of those boy bands that was put together in the early 2000s. I know they did a short spell and then they were back to sort of working behind a bar. It's a weird place to be in. But what happens to someone like Len when the TV goes away? You know?
Well, I suppose that's the thing. You go in one of two directions. You either get a real job and use your talents of communication there. Use it in digital marketing. Or you go the way of Len and try and stick to the past, which you're never going to get again. So it's a problem with what happens if you can't adapt to the real world. You go homeless and die. or
But
you
at least
become
get your
hyper
25 quid
successful.
back.
True, you can save
Yeah.
25 quid to give to your friend that you humiliated numerous times. So, you know.
There's you make it's an interesting point with what you say, Harry, and is like they were facing that situation really. Like these guys couldn't keep making League of Gentlemen.
No.
I think they did the 3 seasons and they did the movie and then they were done.
Yeah.
And Steve Pemberton in the movie, yes, I'm one of the 5 people in the UK who have seen that movie.
That was a movie.
Yeah, League of Gentlemen's Apocalypse. And yeah, it's Steve Pemberton himself who makes a point about how he'd been doing the character for like 15 years already. They were ready to move on. So these guys they did adapt, just like you said. And I've got to say, I'm glad they did, because I think whilst I liked League of Gentlemen at the time, I don't think I could rewatch it. And whereas this does feel like their best work for me.
Oh, Inside Number 9's easily the best. I mean, yeah, when we get onto the scores, you'll probably be shocked at the scores I actually do give my 2 least favourite episodes, which should sing praises to it, I'll say, you know.
Yeah.
We'll
there was also a really dark joke in this. I'm
one?
sure you guys caught it. When they made the reference to a lot of the 80s TV stars being U-Tree.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's U-Tree.
Brutal, absolutely brutal. Yeah. Do you want to translate that for Americans? Because this is probably really easily missed, even if our American, Canadian, and Australian friends manage to find this show.
Basically, in Sardines, if the father was in television or radio, he would have been U-Treed. Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. That's YouTube friendly.
Yes, U-Tree was the operation to look into celebrities who had gone a diddling back in the day. Quite the scandal. So yeah, that's what the reference was. I think it's probably quite a specifically British reference, but in the context of it, it was like, oh, that one hit it's really brutal. Hard.
Not him, surely. No, yeah, he was U-Tree.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolute savagery, but quite funny.
Yeah.
Savagery.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think he was what kicked it off, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, savilled. TCG, any more thoughts on this? Because I feel like I just sort of yammered over this one.
No, I don't mind. Like I say, this one, it was all right. I liked it. I think, but with a lot of what he was saying, as I mentioned earlier, I think if it was sort of self-commenting on League of Gentlemen, that would have gone right over my head. I thought it was a good story. Like I cannot fault these 2 guys' writing ability at all. Like it astounds me that there is something that's on the BBC which is as consistently good as Inside Number 9. It genuinely baffles me. How do they keep getting away with it? I don't know.
I don't know. It's just pure quality. It doesn't try to be against the message, it's just doing its own thing. So I think they leave it alone, to be honest. Also, I just remembered, like, in terms of them talking about this, how they write it, I love the little details that they wrote into it about how you do comedy writing. That struck me so clear. Like, once they said it, I keep seeing it everywhere. So you notice when they talk about when you mention something, be specific. And the line is, you never say biscuit, you say a Garibaldi. And once they said that in comedy writing, it's like, oh, I see that everywhere. Do you guys know what I mean, or does that make no sense?
Sorry, I was just looking at Henry absolutely defaming Michael Barrymore, whom I spoke to on my 12th birthday. I'll leave it there. I'm going to refuse to elaborate on that one.
That pool guy.
Oh Oh no.
There's a reason why he doesn't keep ashtrays in the house.
Oh no, I know that joke. I know that joke. We are not repeating it on screen. Allegedly in Minecraft. There was the other thing where they complain about someone like mugging to the audience to steal the laugh. I just thought that really felt real. Oh dear. I'm rambling just because I love this episode so much, but this one I found it fascinating, culturally very specific to Britain and interesting, and just the relationship between these two guys was so well written, so well acted that it still devastates me every time I watch it.
Yeah, not me. I'm odd, so I don't like cry at things. I just
You just say pathos.
No, I don't even have to do that. I'm not that weak.
Wow, get you.
Proper hard, don't I? Don't get emotional with all these, like, it's all fake, innit? It's all fake. It's not real. It's not really dead, innit? They say cut and he goes walking off, goes back home to his big house and all that. Don't worry about all that crap. He ain't dead. Don't even owe the geezer 25 quid.
That is so much cope.
Speaking of cope, shall we get to the scores and Haryan not giving this 11 out of 12 on everything?
I just say logos.
Yes, we can go to the burger scores.
All right, let's move on to it, folks. As I said, I tried to do an efficient stream. We will, it's under 3 hours. That's pretty efficient. So
this is good.
It's good for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll do the ranking of the episodes and the scores. I think it's probably the best way to do it. I'm just looking for this. There we go. Right. Haryan, would you like to lead?
Okay. So rank them in order of what most favourite to least favourite, and then give
let's go with that.
Yep. Okay. So obviously the best one is Bernie Clifton's dressing room. And then, as I said, Riddle of the Sphinx and Sardines, my least two favourite episodes, but Riddle of the Sphinx is easily my least favourite, with Sardines being just above it. In terms of scores, though, again, you got to bear in mind, these are two of my least favourite of the entire series. Bernie Clifton's dressing room is easily an 11, with plenty of ketchup, mustard, cheese for the cheesy comedy, maybe some crackers on the side to celebrate the life of crackers.
Oh.
Yeah, so very, very good character study, very good insight into. I mean, now that you mentioned the meta text as well, that's a good little tidbit of reading into it as well, which I'm sure every comedian agrees with. That's over 50 years old. So yeah, 11 out of 10 quite easily. So then Sardines. Obviously, I had some issues with the whole how does the plan work. I have issues with the fact that there are too many characters in it, and you could probably get rid of about 2 or 3 that aren't needed in general there, which seems to pad it out needlessly, and you can focus a bit more on the characters, which was the strength of the episode. Having said all that, they still do, as has been pointed out to me, quite ferociously. There was quite a lot of setup. I was just a bit disappointed in the payoff, but having said that, it's still easily, I don't know, do I go 8 or 9? I don't know, it annoys me too much, so I'll probably give it an 8 out of 12, which is still, as I say, given that's my second least favourite.
That's high for you.
Yeah, you're guaranteed that all these episodes are going to be great if you watch this show. And then finally, Riddle of the Sphinx. Yeah, I hate it, and if I was to give it a subjective score, it would probably be about 2. But no, it's actually competently written. No, they're on the nose with Chekhov's gun, which is just a great joke. Most of it, there's a lot of setup there, but then obviously payoff there as well. It's the Chekhov's gun bit's good, but a morticiary report that has DNA checks the paternity line. I don't think so. Having said that, at the end of the day, it's a lot of contrivance in it more than anything, which doesn't necessarily give it like a 2. So I'd probably say, Riddle of the Sphinx probably a it's got to be a 6, and even that I think is being harsh because I know I hate cryptic crosswords.
that is forming your opinion
Raging.
on it.
Yeah, I know. Well, no,
It's
but
completely forming your opinion.
yeah, so it is probably actually a 7, but I'm giving it a 6 because screw you.
Out of spite.
And I hope anyone that likes that episode has pufferfish with their burger. So, yeah.
Okay, I'm pleasantly surprised by that. Thank you, Haryan.
Oh yeah. It's great.
How about you, TCG?
8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Guess which one's a which.
I mean, 10 has to be Bernie, right?
Right. Okay.
No, wait, no.
So you think 10?
I think you like. I think Riddle of the Sphinx is a 10 for you.
Right. Okay. 9.
Bernie is a 9. No, Sardines is a 9.
Okay.
And Bernie is the 3rd for you.
You would be right.
Oh, nice.
You would be right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm terrible taste.
Shut up. Shut up.
Saucy little minx, Haryan.
Look, I've got. Look. Ultimately, I have to drop Bernie Clifton some points because, again, this channel is supposed to be a horror channel, and I look for stuff that's supposed to scare me, or to have sort of, invoke, emotions of uncomfortableness and all that. All that jazz. That for me was missing that because that wasn't the theme of it, and understandably so. But that being said, it was an amazingly written show. It was, episode. It was, it was emotional. It was quite emotional, and the reveal at the end. The payoff on it was really good. But as I say, it wasn't horror. There was no blood or guts or anything like that. So it loses a lot of points for that. So 8 on that regard. Sardines 9, solid. Episode. I got the little nuggets of information, unlike you.
All right.
but where it lacked, I don't know. I do agree. There was a lot of contrivances. There was things. A lot of dominoes had to fall in place for the plot to make it work in terms of like getting the end result. I do agree with that. But yeah, for me, I really enjoyed the Riddle of the Sphinx. I mean, that episode started off quite light-hearted, and it just gradually got darker and darker and darker, like to the point where you're literally cutting the flesh of a woman who's still alive, cooking it, and then like eating it essentially in front of her. Oh, by the way, I'm feeding you your daughter. Oh, by the way, you nearly copped off with your daughter talking about you being a red-blooded male, and you're looking at affected essentially like Prince of like, dude, mate, it got dark. So
Westermark effect, BTFO,
and you also learned how cryptic crosswords work.
Nah,
so it was quite cool. You didn't.
Nice, very nice.
No, yeah, but again, it's not reflect. I mean, as I say, I've as I said it, man. It's these two are such talented writers, and even the shows where they don't quite hit the mark, like you still know that it's far superior to like 99% of the crap that's being produced on BBC. Like I say, how they keep getting away with it. Keep flying under the radar, boys. Keep flying under the radar.
Well, it is their final season. Another scoring from Zoe. Good to see you. Very nice. Ooh. It is their final season of Inside No.9 is starting, I think, pretty soon, if I'm right.
Yeah, I think someone said earlier on in the chat.
Yeah. So they are going to round it off, and my goodness, I hope they nail the landing. But even if they don't, they've made so many bangers.
And of course, they're ending it on season 9.
Exactly. Oh, sorry, I didn't even say that, did I? Yes, good call. Thank you.
Very, very fitting.
Yeah, going to get to that and then call it a break and then decide what they want to do, which is good. It's fine. I like those scores, Zoe. I think those are fair. I think those are very fair. Before I give my score, I want to ask Steve Cheney if the only one episode of the show is the one about the proms, because that's the only one where I've been so annoyed.
There was a karaoke one.
Oh yeah. You didn't like that one? I wasn't a
It
fan
was-
of it, but
it weren't that great. Again, like it wasn't bad. It just felt so different to other stuff.
I
That
really like that episode with the karaoke bar.
I mean, you can't go wrong with Tamsin Outhwaite, but
Who?
oh, called it.
No,
Thank
there
you,
go.
Steve.
Is
Yes.
that in season 8?
The episode, it might be, but it's the one about the proms, and it was them attempting to do balanced political humor, which good
God.
for them. But it was
cringe.
so badly handled and so offensive. I got angry. And maybe we'll cover that at some point. What exactly they did so badly, but yes. So I'll do my scores quickly. For me, Bernie Clifton, number 1. Obviously, it is an 11 out of 12. If only they'd got Tony Todd in there, we could have had the full 12. Because this still makes me cry after, 6 viewings of it? That is powerful. Riddle of the Sphinx, tour de force, I think it's a 10. It's so tight. It does rely on a lot of complex moving parts, but they work. It's pulled off with aplomb and just a really unique story. So fantastic stuff. And Sardines probably comes in at about a 9 for me, just because there was a certain amount of cheating, but I still like how they did the story. So overall, very high, very high. We might get more mixed scores in next week's stream. I do have to finalize the episodes for that. But first, Patrick Batman, thank you so much. By the way, Patrick Batman, thank you so much. I know you also dropped a super chat in the Zardos stream, which unfortunately, because it was a bunker stream put up because of an incident, I could not be there for. I couldn't read it. I saw you and another lovely chap leave super chats, and I felt awful because I couldn't respond to them. So apologies for that, and thank you again for supporting. Thank you for supporting me here with £5. Recommending Compliance 2012. That has been recommended before. It looks amazing. So Compliance 2012, based off a real event, shows what normal people are capable of when faced with a supposed authority figure. Yes, brilliantly creepy, I gather, based on an incident where someone called up a McDonald's and gets them to all act on creepy instructions. Very good. Not often seen as a horror film, but I would absolutely count it. I do fancy watching it because it's just so intriguing. Okay. Thank you again. That's much appreciated. Right. So next week, I'm going to try and delve a little more into the horror side of it, including an episode that I really like, but still have to absolutely criticize because I think they kind of ripped off another movie. Yes. Tell you what, I know we're going to cover that, so I can say that one now. We will be looking at Wise Owl, and if you want to, you can watch the movie that I believe it is borderline ripping off, and that is called Possum from 2018, I believe. So you can watch that if you want. I would say it's extremely hard going, so might be a tough watch for people. But that is where I think there was slightly more inspiration than is typically fair. And we'll also get a couple of the other straight up scary episodes. Probably Seance Time, maybe To Have and To Hold. I'll mix it up. I'll see what I can do, but we'll go for some scary ones.
If you would consider it, what's it called? Diddle.
Oh, Diddle Dump. Yeah.
Diddle Dumplings.
Should we go for it? Should we see if we can do 4? Because I'd
do 4. In fact,
we'll put a time limit on for ourselves. I'm sure we can do it. But Diddle Dumpling was amazing.
Yeah.
All right, groovy. I see people are mentioned. I think someone else mentioned Cold Comfort. How Do You Plead isn't coming to my mind, but Cold Comfort set inside a call center. Absolutely brilliant as well.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Who recommended it? I feel bad for not remembering, but I saw someone else recommend that one. And I thought, Yes, good taste. Who said it? I can't see it now. Never mind. I shouldn't scroll chat for it. Anyway, fantastic taste. That and To Have and To Hold. Brilliant. What was the one where they're in the apartment of the hoarder?
That's the one I recommended.
Yeah. Do you know the name of it?
That's quite a late one. Tempting Fate.
That's it. There we go. I don't think we'll be able to cover it, but folks, if you have liked what we've been talking about, give Tempting Fate a watch. In fact, just go on a binge. But with that said, I think this hasn't been as efficient as I thought naively we could do, but this was just great to chat about. And really lovely having you on again, Haryan.
Yes, it was much fun. I mean, I could talk forever about how good Inside Number 9 is, and you picked my least two favourite.
Well, if you can make it, you are welcome back next week. If schedule permitting, of course.
No, he's coming back. He's coming back. No, you're coming back. You're not leaving. On it. we can't lose you again. This is, Callum left Lotus this week. We can't,
Yeah.
I can't handle any more loss. I'm going to start imagining that you're here and with me right now, and we'll do comedy sketches.
I'm not giving you 25 quid, you greedy. Greedy kid.
Black Annis is on point. Yes, Possum is by Matthew Holness, bizarrely the man behind Garth Marenghi, and he also produced just this amazing Freudian horror, absolutely astounding. So that is Possum. So I think that is everything. Join us next week. I will finalize the episodes. We'll try and get that right for you guys. Thank you very much, Haryan. Thank you very much, TCG.
That was great being back on. Yeah.
It's a delight. It's good. Yeah. It's good bands. Yeah. Missed you on here.
I hope to be on again soon. Well, I'll see if I can make next week. But as I say, I'll get back to you. If not, definitely another time soon.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
All right. And chat, thank you so much. I'm so chuffed that you enjoy this. I saw a lot of love for Inside Number 9 in the comments. It's great to see. Oh, and the Henry App has said there is a great short by Holness. Yes, send it to me. Do send it to me. After Possum, which traumatized me. I'm very interested to see what he does. And Mr. GB replacing Callum as the newest Spice Girl. No, I would not inflict that on the audience. Oh dear. I'll leave you with this request from Steve Cheney. It's been emotional. Everyone look up Reece Shearsmith, Tina Turner. Well, I am going to go and Google that, and you should do the same, folks. We will be back next week covering more Inside Number 9. You have yourselves a great Friday and a great weekend, and be there on Saturday for the final part of the Blockbuster series.
Sorry.
You've looked it up, haven't you?
Oh my God.
All right.
Yeah. I can see why I made those comments in that episode.
No.
Thanks, y'all. Cheers.